Good morning, ladies. Good morning.
Good morning,
Good morning,
Oz. How are
Oz.
you?
Oh, I'm great. I'm great. I'm going to do my little less or little talented thing going on. Bear with me one second. Can you see this? Can you see this? This is a coffee cup. It's kind of like in and out right there. But tell me what you think. This is our new commercial here. The best part of waking up is Joey's in your cup. And that's my selfish plug for my wife's business, Joey's Coffee Grinder at Etsy. That helps keep our damn lights open, you know? So let's, if you guys think about it, if you want the best coffee according to Christine and Amber and everybody else, you might give my wife's coffee a try. And we do have dandelion tea now. Wasn't that terrible? That's a terrible way to start a show, those gratuitous plugs. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm not up and going in the morning unless I have caffeine, so
Seriously.
it inspires me.
Yeah, I get you, and I never used to be a coffee sort of a guy. I just like coffee, shit, whatever. But I was like, get up in the morning and 10 minutes to get to work, grab a Coke, stuff it in my face, and I'm off to work. And we can see how that worked out for me because now I've got a little tiny aneurysm on my heart. Don't worry, I don't think I'm going to drop over today. But like I say, take care of your shit. Be aware of what's going on. And, as you're getting a little long in the tooth, think about that. So that's my PSA. When you're young, you're going to pay the price. So think about what you do, okay? I'm not
Amen.
talking down to you, but
Noted.
it does happen. Yes, you young and you give it a shot. I can't see who's in the chat this morning for whatever reason. Can you
I know.
give a
I
shot?
can't either.
Oh,
I said
nobody's
hi,
talking.
fam.
Yeah.
Good morning, fam. There's some in there, but for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on. I see the accidental activist. You know her. She's great.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, there's the Green Report. Now who's
Good morning,
that?
everyone.
Hi, Green Report. Okay, so we're gonna have a roundabout here, and you know what's even worse is one of our guests today, Christine Lund, the natural progressive, can't get Zoom to work. So, Christine, keep kicking that thing. We're having glitches all over the place, and if the show crashes today, it's not my fault. So sorry. Anyway, I guess shall we get to it? And if Christine comes in, we're going to bring her in. I'll have to take a second to reset. Originally, we had a story that we were going to work on today in honor of Women's Wednesday, going into the Natural Progressive tonight with Whitney and hopefully Shanda and Christine Lund, the Natural Progressive. So come on, Chris, keep trying. We love you. We want to see you in here, Women's Wednesday.
Chris.
Yeah, we don't want to hear Oz running off the mouth. He's boring. Donald Trump, he made a threat. It's on Reuters about 6 hours ago now. Trump threatens to shutter social media companies after Twitter warning. Now, do you guys know what this is about?
I do.
Tell us about this. Tell us about this, ladies.
This is in regards to a tweet that he put out about mail-in ballots across the country and how they can be rigged, and he says that they can be stolen out of your mailbox and they can be copied, and yet again he is so far off the mark. I mean, I don't disagree that there is a problem with mail-in ballots, but it is not what the Republican Party thinks it is. And so he's threatening to go after social media because they put a fact check box underneath of his tweet, which, as most of us progressives, we've had those fact check box pop up under the stupidest things like a PBS post. It happens over and over. So I don't know. Is it Orwellian? Is he being dictatorial? I don't know.
Yeah. What do you think, Whitney?
Well, first of all, Twitter's a private corporation, right? So he's trying to use free speech with a private corporation. So there's that issue. I know there's been so many issues on Twitter. So this is interesting that now, why now, I guess, is the question. What's going on? Because he's already saying it's going to be a rigged election. So I don't know. I don't know if should Twitter get involved? Yes, I agree. But you have to remember it's a private corporation. So I don't know what he's trying to get at. Is he trying?
Whitney froze. Oh,
No!
There she is.
You just got to give her a second. She always unfreezes.
Okay, I'm here. I feel like, should Trump be allowed to mess with private corporations, yet he's advocating for a lot of private corporations? I don't know.
Which speaks to the bigger issue is these social media platforms, should they be
public utility?
A public utility.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Just like the telephone, communications, Not a difficult concept. So yeah, I mean, you ladies want to say anything else about this? We can go on for a little bit with this one because I think.
Welcome to reality, motherfucker. We've been dealing with it for years.
Yeah. Tell us how you really feel, motherfucker. Yeah.
No,
I mean, yeah. Oh,
strange.
we got Barbara, Melissa.
Yeah,
Hi,
our
Melissa.
chat's moving.
Yeah,
Good morning,
there we go.
chat.
Good morning, ladies. Do you need a cup of Joey's coffee? Or you can just pour it into the internet. Maybe it'll spark it up because we're all having trouble today. And Christine is in the chat, the natural progressive. Sorry, guys, still trying. Well, damn it, Christine. Can you come on tomorrow and do like a green moment or an environmental thing for us if you can't get in today and to today? So, I mean, this whole damn thing, this is censorship. Not only do we have a shit pie, Ajit Pai, who's head of the FCC, who is already screwed us 17 ways from Sundays, he's in collusion with all the big media, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's going to have castles all over the world. He's going to get golden parachutes, the likes that no one has ever seen, because he's crushing anything that's independent or public related, public utility comments, that sort of thing. Is there anything we can add to this? God, I sound different today. Are my pipes like getting older or what?
You sound like Oz to me.
Okay, I sound like Oz.
Yeah, you
Oz,
sound fine.
Shut up, Oz. Go ahead, ladies. What about the future of these platforms and social media? What are you thinking? They're getting poised to yank us out and chuck us in the sewer, right?
Possibly. I just don't know what the future is. I know that it's becoming a part of our lives with public figures talking to us directly now, and you could comment, retweet, and be a part of it. It's face to face, but it's not, it's still on the internet, but they're more open. But I don't know how it could be regulated, considering that Trump is spewing nonsense all the time, and now they're deciding to get involved with this particular issue. I feel like Trump will, if Biden wins, I feel like he will say this is a rigged election, and he's just already prepping that. He's scared, right? He's scared. So he's using, I don't know, he's threatening. I feel like he's scared, but he's threatening.
I kind of have to agree with the fact that who authorized Silicon Valley to be the fact checkers for the whole world on what's truth and what's not truth. I mean, we see this over and over where somebody is setting the standard for what they believe is truth, but is it actual truth? It goes back to the whole Snopes thing. If I get told to Snopes something one more damn time, I'm going to freak out because I don't find them reliable source. So what is the reliable source for a truth?
Yeah, everything's been co-opted, in my opinion. I mean, we see it with these damn blue check bullshit things on Facebook. I mean, Facebook, it's crazy, and this thus brings us to the point of why we're migrating over to these other platforms, even though they're paid platforms. I mean, what do you want? Do you want free bullshit, or do you want paid closer to the truth than you're going to get in a lot of cases? I mean, that's going to be our only avenue until they figure out a way to F that up, too. Again, I'm very concerned. And again, platforms like Rockfin, we've only been with them for, maybe 60 days now. And we're trying to do it right. We're trying to get in there with a bunch of free content, get the interest of those who are already in there. But we're migrating a lot of stuff. We're working on premium stuff, which is the point, to keep that aspect, to keep it funded, to build platforms, to show other individuals who might have a couple of nickels to rub together to give us these platforms that haven't been co-opted by the big companies and the corporations and stuff. Maybe I'm just peeing into the wind again. I hope I'm pointing in the right direction.
No, I agree with you. And I think that in the future, if you want truth, you're going to have to pay for it, which means subscribing to platforms that don't censor, that are not doing this Orwellian crap to us.
Yeah. Whitney, what is real truth to you? Because Shanda made a good point there, real truth. What do you think real truth is? Are there different kinds of truth, or is truth just truth?
Philosophy question on the Daily Time.
Yeah, go figure.
I guess, fact, right? I mean, fact is what is real, the reality. But just like I'm going to take this example. Just like a murder case, you have to figure out what happened, what are the facts, what are the evidence. and then there's so many different theories that come from that. I don't know. Truth is something that's factual, but it always gets co-opted, and that's
Right.
the issue with politics. Is we know the truth, we know the facts, but politicians and other outside influences like lobbyists and stuff, they are trying to corrupt the truth and the fact, and how to get to that better world is they're co-opting that truth, that issue.
I subscribe to the theory that the truth is like a lion. Set it free and it will defend itself.
Right. Yeah. Roar.
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 Roar. Yeah, that's roar. That's my platform. Suzanne Murphy and Rhonda and I, we've got that up, but it's just kind of sitting there. That's kind of like as soon as we get uphill media to the level of truth and exposure for all these other wonderful shows we've got coming in, I'm going to start chipping at roar again because I like that roar comes, so that was kind of like an Exorcist thing. That wasn't a roar.
That was awesome, though.
Yeah, anyway, so we like to have fun. We like to enjoy things, but I'm going to warn you guys, and it's going to come up after the next segment. We're going to talk about George Floyd, and it's in all seriousness. That is the most. Anyway, just a warning. And I know that the media is just destroying on this today because of the Minneapolis murder by those 4 police officers. Sorry for you good ones that are out there. Please step up. We want to go here right now. I think we're going to put our politics on and get it out of the way so we can vomit early and clean our systems out. What do you ladies think? I mean, it's just like, okay. God dang. Where is this? Honestly, we had to change the whole show today. And what was that, Shanda? 20 minutes because of the Floyd thing and Karen. We have a Karen in Central Park that was just absolutely, and that's serious too because that ties into the George Floyd thing. But here, let's talk about Joe Biden holdouts and what's going on with the Biden camp a little bit. Let's run this clip from Crystal. I'm going to try and snip it as much as possible. Tell me if you guys can hear it. I'm having some sound issues too. God dang, internet hell today.
Big news out of the Joe FDR Biden campaign. Former Obama chief of staff and Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel is having regular conversations with Biden about everything from policy to politics to VP selection. Super cool having the guy who helped kill the public option and push back against doing Obamacare at all and presided over the Laquan McDonald shooting and sold himself to Wall Street is step 1 on the path to the most progressive administration in history. The Chicago Tribune has the details. If you're wondering what kind of advice Rahm is offering to Biden, consider this knowledge nugget laid down on a podcast recently when David Axelrod asked if he thought Biden would offer a more progressive agenda in response to the ongoing pandemic. Rahm replied, "The moment may call for it, and I'm a big believer in never allowing a crisis to go to waste. But the whole primary was a couple people in our party talking about a revolution and a couple people in our party talking more reform than revolution. And what Biden is now saying is, well, the post-COVID world requires a revolution. And I'm surprised because he did not win on the revolution model. He won on the reform model." Now, we have, of course, talked here about why Biden won and why Bernie lost. The idea that Biden won some sort of policy debate is ridiculous. People wanted the Sanders plan, but they wanted a trusted, media-anointed electability figure more. That's why we have Joe Biden. It's not.
Okay, that's why we have Joe Biden.
What policy? What fucking policy are they talking about?
Yeah, Biden, like Hillary Clinton, got shoved down our throat. And I think it's worse this time because not only did they shove Hillary Clinton down our throat that last time, they've got Biden shoving down our throat. And then they got all their minions cramming him all the way down to where the sun don't shine. I mean, it's Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden. I think I should start putting quarters in the jar every time I mention that guy's name. Rahm Emanuel, and this is why I wanted to show this clip, and a lot of people in chat, hey, human, Osama, number 5, and the chat's a bubbling, Barbara. Christine's still trying to get unscrewed from Zoom, so keep it up, Christine, because we love your voice. But Rahm Emanuel, I was trying to figure out who his counterpart of ickability would be. Ickability, or is that just pure vomit on the others on the GOP? Who would you say? I'd say like Karl Rove. Who do you guys think? Mitch McConnell? What?
Yeah, both comparable.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell. You know, and I know that Rahm Emanuel's in good company, like Steny Hoyer and Chuck Schumer, and of course the Queen, Nancy Pelosi. I mean, they're all just crooked from the days long. But Trump. Ladies, come on, give me some love for Rahm, will you? And then I'll finish up this clip and we'll move on to the real serious shit.
I have no love for Rahm and his whole never let a good disaster go to waste. I'm so sick of hearing that shit. I just envision Hillary every time he says that. But you know, I had kind of an epiphany yesterday of I keep being corralled back into the Democratic Party to support a policy and platform that I don't agree with. And never once in the last 4 years have I seen a compromise where they will embrace anything policy-wise that we are supporting. So for them to come out and say it's a policy, bullshit, you guys don't talk about policy. What has Biden even said to us? The only thing I can think of is that he'll lower Social Security to 60.
Oh,
I think that's the only policy position I've heard from him.
Oh, Whitney?
Joe Biden, you know how the campaign is trying to portray him as the new FDR? They're co-opting Bernie's message, but they're not delivering on the Bernie policies, right? So Shonda said that very well. And just, you know, the Democratic Party does. So, oh no.
You're all right.
Wait,
Keep
okay,
talking.
you're back.
Keep
Wait,
going.
did you hear that? The Democratic Party doesn't want the progressive movement in it. That's why they're trying to get rid of them.
Exactly.
But, you know, we live in this two-party system. We're not like Europe where we have all these different factions that can, you know, you're forced to work together and cooperate.
Yeah.
No, we have to take over a party to get our message heard. And, you know, they don't like that. These dynasty figures like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, you mentioned, and others. And just, you know, our whole system it's not democratic, right? You have the president who picks a vice president who the people don't have any say. Yeah, you have to vote at the end, but, you know, we have no say that Obama picked Joe Biden. But then now, because he was the vice president, he gets anointed to be the president, even though we didn't pick him. And, you know, they kick Bernie to the side and they squash that movement. For what? I mean, what do they expect? They expect people to jump on the Joe bandwagon. I mean,
they give you no choice.
They give you no choice, and that's part of the issue.
Yeah.
And
You do have a choice.
Yeah, you do have a
Right.
choice. So yeah, guess what? You do have a choice. So again, I think Crystal goes into that this morning later on, and it's not unique to Crystal, but God, she said, basically, you know, like the Hillary Clinton administration, they had their whole cabinet booked before they even got close to winning in November, which they didn't. Sorry, Hill. But they had everybody picked down. What did she say, Shana? To subgroups. They had everybody set up in the cabinet to push the neoliberal crap that President Obama pushed, which led us to Trump because so many people got effed during his administration.
And wrote by Citibank, no less.
Wrote by Citibank. Citibank, thank you. I do want to finish up here with a couple of points, but the Rahm Emanuel, Tom Daschle, and Howard Dean, I will say, were the three amigos back in the day. Why we didn't get a public option when Obama had the House and the Senate. I believe my timeline is correct. Is it not, Shanda? They lost by like one or two votes or something.
But, you know, I wasn't a big Howard Dean supporter back in the day. You know, I remember watching him, but I'm told how progressive he was. But yet I'm like, what? How is he that progressive if he killed policies that we needed?
No, he wasn't progressive. He was talking the bullshit like everybody else has talked time and time again. Oh, we need to get to this tier before we can get to this tier. So let's get this today and we'll fight harder for it tomorrow. And this is a quote. I'm stealing that quote. What, we'll fight this today. I think I'm stealing it from Steph Zamorano or Jimmy or Kyle. I'm stealing it, but we need to steal these things and keep telling people because that's the truth. Really, I mean, they have set us up to fail since probably before Bill Clinton again. And I had a Clinton Gore T-shirt for years. Ultimately I used it as a car wash rag, which I thought was really the best use of that shirt once Clinton sold us to Wall Street and signed in NAFTA. Now, again, to finish this off, Whitney, your generation, you're a Z, right?
No, millennial.
You're
almost a Z.
Almost a Z. You're right on the cusp. It gives my heart hope for change because your generation, you are showing us right here, you get it. And if there's one of you, there's a lot of you because you guys pick up things faster, I think, than us bald boomers. What do you call me? Blue-haired boomer, Shanda?
No, you call yourself
I personally
I don't call you that. But I got to agree, Oz, it's so inspiring to see the generations below us so aware. I'm Gen X. We weren't aware. We were programmed by the three main TV stations growing up, right? And it took many of us social media to wake up. But this generation, these generations below us, they're coming out of the gate awake, which is so inspiring. I mean, can't help but get changed this way, right?
Yeah.
Right. And even Gen X, I would argue everyone at this point is in a very precarious situation with politics and where the world is headed in a climate direction. But the younger people seem to, I don't want to pick sides. I hate this part, but we're like, the younger people do understand, and maybe that's because of social media and there's so much information out there and seeking truth. This generation and the generation below me, Gen X and possibly Generation Alpha, this one coming up, we want to know the truth. We want to make better decisions based on truth and facts. And we know the science behind, climate change and what's, good policies in terms of, why does the young generation like Bernie Sanders? Well, it's, he's older than the boomer generation, right? He's like, I forgot what
he's the greatest generation.
Yes. So it's policies. There's a likeness of policies, not necessarily generation, I think. So yeah, the younger people get it, but it's a certain population of like that capitalist mind in the 1980s that's like stuck in there. And it's like the dynasty of like the 80s will not get out. And like that capitalism is hard. And it's like, we want to shake the system, but they're holding on. But we know the consequences. If we don't shake the system, what the consequences will be, So
we're running out of time.
Yeah,
right. We're running out of time.
I think you nailed it. Would you say this is it? The old adage, old habits die hard. We're fucking dying. So this is
dynasties.
Yeah, it's the dynasty thing again. Shanda, I want to see if you concur on this. Whitney's killing it today. So should we give her the Wipey Award for stepping up and speaking out truth to power? Don't you agree?
I second that motion, Oz.
Yeah, so you get the
Love you guys.
You get the Wipey Award. You just keep it up. Now don't let your head swell and go quiet, Oz, okay?
I'm very down to earth,
the New York Slimes Wipey Award. What an honor. You're in with such great minds like Fiorella Isabella and John Ellis now. So the Wipey Award. Whitney gets that today. So let's finish this off and let's have a dose of reality here. Once again, we're going to let Crystal have the final word on this. So I think I'm pretty much in line, and I know you guys will be too.
David Sorota's up with a great piece on this. You all should check it out. Writing at The Guardian in a piece titled, "Democrats are fueling a corporate counter-revolution against progressives," David writes, "Democrats' entire 2018 electoral campaign told America that the opposition party needed to win back Congress in order to block Trump's regressive agenda. And yet, when the Republicans proposed a bill to let Trump's appointees dole out government cash to their corporate allies with no strings attached, that same opposition party mustered not a single recorded vote against the package. Not one." After detailing the worst of the Trillions for Corporate America and Unemployment for You plan, Sirota explains that taken together, the spectacle was more confirmation that whatever resistance exists in the nation's capital, it is so often performance art rather than anything real. Well said, my friend, something that risers certainly know as well. It's all just so brazen, so out in the open. The intentional humiliation of progressives, the mass shaming of anyone who dare question Biden's record or approach, the hysteria of Trump is literally Hitler coupled with an agenda that has only consistently handed him and his administration more power. I mean, really think about that. The same people who would tell you that you should vote Joe even if he boiled and ate babies, as we covered here last week, because Trump is that bad, just handed him $4 trillion in unaccountable play money. It is literal insanity. But to the resistance mindset, that is not the unconscionable thing. What's unconscionable is those of us who would maybe demand more from Joe Biden, who would even think about wielding the one clear-cut, tiny bit of power which we are granted in this democracy, which is our vote. The expectation is that they should be able to just shove Rahm and his Learn to Code program and king of neoliberalism Larry Summers and Jamie Dimon for Treasury Secretary down our throats. And if we don't say, thank you, sir, can I have another, then we are the bad guys.
Wah, wah, wah.
Boy, she nailed it, didn't she?
Oh my God in heaven! I mean, I'm starting to drool when I see this, and the drool is just like, yeah, but it's like falling on deaf ears. For the love of God, everybody, we're with a lot of people out there. We know we're getting bent over in the worst way possible. All right, shall we go to the really, really heinous, horrible, horrible stuff today? This is not fun.
Yeah, I just want to warn the audience that I've asked Oz to demonetize us today because I plan on dropping a few F-bombs.
Yay!
I'm fired up and I'm mad.
Yeah, I'm not only mad, I am absolutely heartbroken. I think I'm just going to do a quick on this Karen thing and go straight into this.
Well, they relate to each other, so yeah.
Yeah, let me just do the Karen thing a little bit, and then I'll stop it, and then we'll talk about it and lead into it. Here we go. This is horrible. This was the first thing I got busted in the face with this morning. I knew it had all happened yesterday, but I'm thinking, God, put it down. You're already dying from that day's news.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. We have an amazing show for everybody today. What do we have, Crystal?
Indeed, we do. We have Adolph Reed Jr. on to talk about Joe Biden and the black vote. We also have a representative of the Trump campaign talking about their latest strategy and in particular outreach to minority voters. But we wanted to start today with two pretty horrific racist incidents that have really captured the nation's attention and shocked a lot of people.
Yeah, they certainly have. I mean, the first one involves a Central Park incident in which a African-American man, he's a bird watcher, got into a confrontation with a woman who had her dog off of the leash. And so as I understand it, the man was upset that the woman had her dog off of the leash, so he had some dog treats, basically saying, I will entice your dog to come to me if you do not put her on the leash. She decided to, I don't know any other way to describe it other than she called the police and only identified the fact that he was black, which seems quite racist to me. And there is a video of the entire incident. Let's take a listen.
Sir, I'm asking you to stop.
Please don't come close to me.
Sir, I'm asking you to stop recording me.
Please don't come close to me.
Please take your phone off.
Please don't come close to
And
me.
I'm taking a picture and calling the cops.
Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Please tell them whatever you like.
Excuse me? I'm sorry, I'm in the Ramble, and there is a man, African-American, he has a bicycle helmet. He is recording me and threatening me and my dog. There is an African-American man, I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog. And I'm sorry, I can't hear you either. I'm being threatened by a man in the Ramble. Please send the cops immediately. I'm in Central Park in the Ramble. I don't know.
Thank you.
So the incident was then watched 40 million times on Twitter as of now, and now Mrs. Cooper, Amy Cooper, who is the woman in the video, has lost her job and apparently had her dog, who was placed in the video, confiscated away from her. I guess it sparked interest. I get a broader conversation.
Okay. Help me out here, Lee. I'm still...
Yeah, this one's got me fired up for multiple different reasons. Obviously, she fell back to that white privilege. Okay, I don't like what you're saying or doing to me, so I'm going to call in the police because I know culturally that they will suppress you, not me. And you could hear that in the phone conversation she's having. She's acting like he's threatening her. He's not even near her, and, oh, I don't know, just get here, and I understand that they were both gone by the time the police got there. So she didn't even follow through with it if she was so threatened. Whitney, I'm going to let you jump in on this.
No, you said it perfectly. She literally walked towards him and pointed at him and said, like, don't record me, don't record. If she was threatened, you would not have that type of behavior.
Not to mention how she was treating that damn dog. I mean,
seriously,
that broke my heart watching that poor dog strangle while she was freaking out.
It just goes to, there's some people, and, she's a white woman, but she doesn't believe that the rules don't apply to her, and the culture is on her side in terms of her race, right? I know that's
which is hardcore. Racism.
Yes, which is racism, and he's an African American man. Okay, all right. Yeah. It's very disturbing, and it's the culture. It's our culture.
Did she deserve to lose her job? I guess is the bottom line question.
Oh man, probably. I know that's hard, but I think what happened was the company didn't want to have this type of publicity. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Oz and Shanda?
Shanda, what do you think?
I think that when you work at a fire at will state, that you have to be conscious of what you're doing. If something you're doing reflects badly on the company that you work for, you are subject to be released.
Okay, yeah, then I agree. It's hard because, the economic situation is difficult, but yes, you can't have that type of public image, and that's, the risk of working for a private corporation. So yeah, but plus she deserved, it was very uncalled for what she did. And the fact that she approached him dismissed her, what's the word? Like, damn it, guys.
Judgment?
Her credibility, sorry.
Or credibility. Yeah. I'll say this, like, I'm a huge animal lover, but who's the animal here? The dog was definitely in huge distress, and my dogs, I have two, one of them's getting older. That encounter probably would have killed my older dog right there, because she would have been so stressed out. So that's one thing. Irresponsibility. That woman, in my opinion, has mental issues. I am not a doctor by any means, but she's got mental issues. She's been socially conditioned for racism, I believe, in her life. Now, does the punishment fit the crime? I hear she was a Wall Street, or not a Wall Street, but she was a corporate, manager of some substance. So, again, I don't want to say her company did the right thing, because notoriously these companies don't give a shit about anything except the bottom line, and they crap on their employees 24/7. So company gets nothing from this. It's the actual act that she committed, putting this bird watching man's life in jeopardy, because we've seen over the last years how men out jogging get shot in the back, and they're usually men of color. Men get choked to death for selling cigarettes, single cigarettes, for gaming the system so they can get by. I mean, my God, when you have these corporations getting away with murder, and it is murder, okay, taking money away from, it's murder. I that's another discussion. But in this case, I want to ask you, okay, so this woman basically has ruined her life via 40 million opinions on Twitter. What are you going to do with this gal? I mean, how do we, those who are against death penalty, and I'm not saying I'm one of them, but how do, when you basically sentence somebody to a life because they made such a heinous mistake or did it on purpose, who knows? What are you going to do with that person? I
think the court of public opinion prosecuted her on this one. And, I think in the time and era that we live in, that's something that has to be on the forefront of your mind anytime you are out in public, or, be aware. As a poor white woman, I learned many years ago that the police response is not going to be exactly what I hope it is when I call them in. So now I understand that if I call the police and they show up, that they could potentially kill somebody or misconstrue what I'm trying to report. So hey, we have a saying in the ghetto, we don't call the cops, you know? So I think that this will just, you got to learn your lessons. Sure. You got to learn your lessons. And she obviously came from an affluent, maybe higher
privileged
privileged type of person who doesn't understand that if she called the police, they could potentially kill this man.
Mm-hmm. Very well said. It's of understanding what's really going on, and it just keeps contributing to this issue. And we have more and more cases of this, but it's been going on for decades and decades. And now that we have cell phones and social media, it's getting broadcasted where it's in our face. You know, the television is one thing now, but we have it in our hands and we see it. So it's very pronounced, but it's not stopping. Things are becoming more out in the open, but they're not stopping.
Yeah. This is nothing new, and I know that those in power just hate the fact that we have cell phones now. We have smartphones. They hate it because they're being exposed, not for what they're doing today, but for what they've been doing all along, which is sad. And I've got friends who are police officers, cops, whatever you want to call them, who I deem as, you know, I think they're pretty straight shooters, and they would never do that. They actually, you know, the propaganda in media has been for years when these cop shows, you know, SWAT and all this other stuff, you know, they basically glorified that profession as always they're the good guys. You know, we go back to the 80s with Chuck Norris, who I think is up Chuck Norris. I can't stand him. But, you know, he did that movie, the Blue Wall, where all the cops, you know, they watched each other's back even when they committed a crime. And he was this righteous cop who, you know, wouldn't do that. He said what was right, kind of like, really, Chuck? But he did. So now we come out with, and this is pop culture, guys, sorry. We come out with this movie, The Sheriff. The Sheriff with Stephen Dorff. He is portrayed as this Lone Star cowboy cop down in L.A. as being the sheriff that got the job by accident because his predecessor died, as being this really good, you know, justice for all, no matter what your race, creed, or whatever everything is. That's total bullshit. Okay, that's a pipe dream, at least today. I hope we get to that point someday. And again, ladies, this, you know, I've probably taken too long, but as you said, Chanda, this leads right into the next story, the hot story of the day. And again, we're not using these stories to elevate our platform. We're discussing them, and we're offering to the group, the Melissa, Barbara, Schultze, Osama, Human, and anybody who future watches this. Maybe they'll think I'm full of shit, but I think you ladies are nailing it. When it comes,
I want to do a closing thought on this.
Yeah, do a closing thought.
I feel like
go for it.
Use this as an example of self-checking. I'm more aware when I'm out in public now what my response is to anything and everything and how it can be reflected. So you just got to carry yourself better, you know.
Whitney, last word.
It just shows you that we're in a different world now where anything and everything you do can be filmed. I mean, we're in like, I don't know, conspiracies in the, you know, it's like the surveillance, you know, you have all these, you can be watched, anything and everything you say, and it's that type of environment now, whether you like it or not. So you got to be careful in what decisions you make. And yes, she did seem very stressed and just like having a panic attack, maybe, I don't know, but the brain is not working and like in that type of moment. But you got to make better decisions than that, especially if you're approaching the man.
Yeah, and if the brain's not working right, that brain of yours can have a lethal result for somebody else. And that brings us to George Floyd. We're going to run this clip, and I apologize, but I don't. I want people to keep watching this. It is not taken so much out of context at all, in my opinion. Do you think it's taken out of context?
No, not at all. Yeah. And, you know, it's hard to watch this video over and over. I the last few months, I refuse to even watch these videos because it's just heart-wrenching, but play it. Okay.
Again, warning, if you're tired or sick of seeing it, I apologize, but we need to have it for context here this morning.
All of this are all exactly the type of like YIMBY people that she was. I mean, they would probably experience a situation very much in the same way. And so this entire way that we look at this, he needs to change. And I think the best exemplar of this is that this thing got so much play online. I mean, everywhere, 40 million times, except
investigating, and I hope that they do face charges, because it is
and I mean, it's one of the most clear cases of police brutality. Those
horrific.
4 officers have now been fired by their police department.
And the FBI is investigating, and I hope that they do face charges, because it is judging by the video and what we see, it is murder.
All we have is the video right now, and I want to make sure everybody plays that, because that story is, I mean, far more important in my view than something like this. So let's play it.
Man, I can't breathe my face. Just get up.
What do you want?
I can't breathe. Please, the knee in my neck. I can't breathe shit.
Bro, get up, get in the car, man.
I will.
Get up, get in the car.
I can't move.
I've been waiting the whole time, man. Just get up, get in the car.
Mama.
Get up and get in the car right.
I can't.
I gave y'all the opportunity to get in, bro. I told you can't win.
My knee.
You can't win, man.
I'm through.
I know you in there, you didn't listen.
I'm claustrophobic. My stomach hurts. My neck hurts. Everything hurts. Get some water or something. Please. Please.
I mean, there's no words for something like that.
And you have bystanders who are
like, hey, the guy can't breathe.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Check his pulse. What are you doing? The context here, for what it's worth, not that anything would really excuse this action, is they were called onto the scene because of a forgery in progress. What it meant is there was a suspicion that he had written a bad check.
All right. Take a breath. Just, this is...
Wipe the tears from your face.
Yeah, I mean, listen, God damn it. You got 4 cops, and they got this guy's knee, this cop's knee in the guy's neck. He's already down. That better be a clear case of murder, or I tell you, the repercussions again, as the murder of those other the other guys that shot him, the kid in the back, a couple weeks ago, or in February. So this didn't just happen, did it? This was like, it was recent, was it?
No, it was Monday.
It was Monday.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was Monday. Okay, who wants to go first? I just can't.
Whitney, you go ahead and go first so I can compose myself.
Okay, yeah. It's obviously disturbing, to say the least. The man is putting his knee on. The police officer is putting his knee on George's neck, and that type of action is so uncalled for in general. I mean, that is a threat to your life. You're closing your neck. He's saying he can't breathe, and that brings me back to the Eric Gardner situation and how disturbing. There's 4 people on one man, and it's just like, how much power do you need? And it's very disturbing. So the action is so, can I say corrupt? I mean, it's so uncalled for. I mean, he had his hands in his pocket, and the police officer, and when you knee someone in the neck, that is you're intentionally causing harm. I mean, is that even in the code of the police department? I mean, you're looking at the law. I mean, can a police officer knee you in the neck? Why is he kneeing him in the neck? Well, it has to do with his race, because he's a bigger man, and therefore they feel for some reason that they have to do extra harm to African Americans. It's very disturbing. I'll let you guys go on.
So, the difference between a military force and a police force is supposed to be de-escalation. And we have a serious lack of de-escalation training going on in this country. Every every couple of weeks, it seems like we turn on the 6 o'clock news to watch one of our brown or black brothers being murdered before our eyes. The thought that those were some of his last words out of his mouth that he spoke, and they're telling him, get up, but they're on top of him. How the hell is he supposed to get up? I don't know what course of action we have other than to take to the streets and say enough of this. And we have to hold these police accountable. They have to start going to trial. They have to start being convicted by example, so the others will stop doing it. You know, and they say they were there because of forgery. No, that was an economic, social class thing. They went after him because he was poor, just like Eric Gardner.
Right. It's just a very disturbing situation, and we as a society see it now in our faces, and you know, you can't look away. Unfortunately, you have to on to hopefully get a better world for what's going on to the African American community, just based on, you know, police. It just goes back to that issue that, you know, it's excessive force and this gang, like the police officers are just, it's like this dog pile issue. It's like you got 5 police officers on one person. And it's just like, you know, who is controlling like the law? I mean, it's very, I keep saying this word, it's disturbing. You know, you can't, I don't want to say you can't trust police officers, but it is concerning where you have to decide, if I call the police, can this person get killed? Yes. The answer is yes at this point in time, 2020. Yes. That's how serious this is. And it's been going on for a while. And just once again, it's the cell phones. We're able to see what's going on. Again, disturbing.
Those guys, those cops, those police officers, those whatever they are, they weren't afraid of that guy.
Yeah.
At all. They weren't afraid of that guy at all. I mean, they have been going through, you know, this I'm going to throw this guy up here. Derek Chauvin and Thao, 2 of the officers caught on tape in the death of George Floyd. Just look at this guy, and you know, this is an optical thing, but you kind of see this trending. This is a shot, I believe it's a still of him with his knee, a close-up of his face while his knee is on this guy's neck, and he's looking at whoever's videoing this thing. And I just don't know what's going through that guy's head. You know, we can look at his face and everything else, but this is the face of your neighbor. This is the face of your uncle, maybe your dad. This is the face of the fireman. This is the face of everybody. But you know what? Inside, behind that face, to me, is a sick individual. I'm not going to call him an animal because I think we're all animals. But this guy, you know, it could be anybody that does this stuff. So,
right.
Yeah.
I agree, Oz. And I think you're hitting on something that we need to talk about when hiring police officers. You know, there seems to be almost a mental illness, for a lack of a better word, that they all have this same, like, I was bullied when I was a kid, so I'm going to get back at society type of attitude. Like they can just bully whoever they want. And, you know, I've seen pictures, I'm not saying that they're true or they're real, of this guy at Trump rallies. You know, so is he a Trump supporter? Is the right ideology feeding this?
Yeah, it's, you know, I hesitate to even go there anymore because the frequency and this kind of thing happening. I know a lot of people within the Hillary supporters, the Biden supporters, that probably have done just as heinous things.
Exactly.
I don't personally know them, but I know there are people that do this. So, you know, when that goes to optics and identity again, which, you know, you bring up a good point. What is fomenting this thing with our law enforcement, with our military, with those who are in charge? We know you do put your life on the line going out there every day. We know this, but, you know, there has to be something. We used to joke around back in the day. I think it was more serious. It wasn't a joke. You had to be a little off to be a certain profession, whether that's a doctor, a surgeon cutting into somebody's heart or somebody's brain, or a veterinarian, or a nurse being around such depressing shit 24/7? What drives you to that, or what leads you to that profession? Being a cop. You know, the joke was you got to be a little bit off to be a cop. Well, you got to be a little bit off to be a postman, a post person, a postal worker. You know, I mean, we don't need to go back to the postal workers with the machine guns and the McDonald's and shit. I mean, something in your head, in your nature, has led you to or driven you to that profession, whether it's gaining the sense of power over other people, or getting into the lane of, you know, this job is so monotonous, I'm going crazy, it's making me nuts. And the pressures behind this job of losing it, of my health care, has driven me to the point where I'm just going to put everybody else and myself out of my misery. I mean, we have got to think broader about things. And when you brought up, again, training, you know, training to de-escalate, I think it's past time that we do that, but there's something there wrong at the wrong part that we got to figure out what that wrong is, that mindset coming into the system where the de-escalation training. If you've got, and I'm going to call them a bad seed because I don't have any other terminology. If you got a bad seed coming into a system that's supposed to train these preventative things, particularly in law enforcement, de-escalation, it ain't going to make no difference. I don't believe. I think when that bad seed's there, they're going to go through that. Oh, sure, I'll do that. Then that same person, 19 years on the force, mind you, this guy, puts his knee in a black man's neck, and while he's begging for his life, no matter what you think of his character or what he's done, you got something wrong in your joint there, dude. And we have failed you as a society, and we are failing others daily, and that is causing the deaths of our sisters and brothers across the country and the world in similar situations. That's well, the only way I can say it.
If I have a bag of potatoes and one of those potatoes goes bad, it rots the whole bag, right?
Yep.
And so
Simple, true.
we know that there's a culture of covering up, and come on, let's face it, there's an underculture. And I'm not saying all police are this way. I know many policemen that are upstanding, amazing, servants to their community, but there is an undercurrent of racism that runs within our police forces. Rage Against the Machine said it best when they said some of those that work forces burn crosses, and that has to be nipped out and cut out of our police forces.
Yeah, Density McCarthy. I think Density says, "Thou shalt not kill," with no caveat. I think I get it, Density. Thou shalt not kill. That should be in our nature. It should be in yours. It should be in yours. It should be in mine. I think it's in mine, but I get so enraged in social condition that I get angry, and this is the point I made about the death penalty. I don't know if I'm against it, but yeah, I am against it, but I don't know if I am. I am, unless, if, caveats, bullshit. You're either for it or against it, so I can never say either way. Whitney, I've been drolling on. Can you give us some insights from your point of view on this horrible, not tragedy, this is just bullshit?
It's hard, and it's our culture at this moment. It's been going on for a while now. I mean, Eric Gardner was, I think, 2014, and it's very similar to that situation. It's more of a slow, well, I just feel like the Eric Gardner situation, right, that it was a fast-paced movement. A bunch of people stormed this man, and it was very intense. This was George Floyd was a very slow death, and that's why I think it's hitting. It's very preventable. I think we need to understand that human life is precious, and that's what's lacking at this point is in our culture in America, is people are just getting picked off left and right, and we're just it's overwhelming, obviously, but the slow is not, a human life is not valued in the sense of this situation. George is saying, I can't breathe. The officers basically dismissing a health situation. And that's unbelievable in the sense that police officers are supposed to protect the civilians. Come on. Even if you're under that situation, you don't have the right to be you don't have a right to have a police officer's knee in your neck. That's excessive force. That's uncalled for. And that should be the heart of this issue is, what is he doing? Like his position and, the other police officer just standing by, like what, what can they do? Are they going to go against what they're, I don't know if they're friends, but what is going on with the law in the sense of how can this person put a knee to the neck? It's that he is going to kill him, and he did. And
Right.
it's what are you doing? Like, this is not appropriate. Get what you're supposed to do. Stop making a scene. Like, it's very, I keep using this word. It's disturbing. It's just unsettling. Like, what are you doing? Are you murdering this man without any remorse? Like, he can't breathe. He's not believing him. He's got his knee to his neck. He can't breathe.
Right.
Why are you continuing to do that? Like, believe the person. Do your job. Do the right procedures. It's the procedures. You have a procedure. Read him his Miranda rights. Stop making, I don't want to say a scene, like a point. He needs to be stronger than this man. I'll let you guys go.
Right.
It's
And
hard.
he says, I can't breathe, which we know were the same words uttered by Eric Gardner.
Yes.
But yet we saw police protesting with shirts that said, I can breathe. And so that condoned it 2 years ago. So here we are again. We need to be calling this stuff out. No.
You're right. It's, God, it's hard. And I feel like they got let go, correct? But are they going to be held accountable?
Well, 2 of them did, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, well, these other 2 got fired, and I'm just waiting. I think they're going to be arrested for murder here within the next 24 hours.
But will they be convicted?
Will they be convicted? And that brings on a whole nother kettle of fish, the sentencing and everything else. And yes, I think we should be involved in that discussion as the public who has, is responsible. We're responsible for George dying. It's not just the cops. We are too. Just the same thing with Eric Gardner and the rest, and these little kids that are getting shot by police and everything else. There's so many issues entwined in this that it's, I can't be just like some people, journalists and authors and things. I just can't be deadpan about this. These fuckers got to stop doing this shit. I mean, and they got to be held accountable. And then they'll say, well, yeah, they'll get theirs when they get put in the general population at prison. I don't believe in that either. I think that justice needs to be, it needs to take on its true form of being just all the way around. And to get these guys sentenced and the one for sure with the knee in the neck, he made a mistake that cost a man his life. The full extent of the law, it's not like he got up that morning and he was going to take a gun and blow somebody's brains out, but it's the next worst thing that he could have done. So that, whether it was premeditated or not, by the happenstances, he caused a man's life to go away for whatever the reasons, the sick fucking shit going on in his fucking head went. FFF. I think I beat you on F-bombs on this, Shanda. I can't stress enough. It's not just the cops. It's our responsibility too. We're responsible for that man's death. And again, we could just go on forever about this. We're not trying to use this as anything but what it is. We're having the damn discussion because it's going to be going for the next God knows how long, and it should. I hope it never stops until we put a stop to this kind of shit that's being done in our of safety and laws and justice and everything else. And finally, I want to say there's going to be a lot of whataboutisms taken out of context. Bullshit. Bullshit. There's no taken out of context whataboutisms. You can say the whole thing, oh, he was on PCP and they had to pin him down. Well, Jesus Christ, we were looking at him there. The guy had it on his neck, and all I could see was the guy with the knee, the cop with the knee on his neck. I didn't see another officer.
Isn't that what they have tasers for?
Yeah, well, and even when those don't work, right. The guy was, I can't breathe. Give me some water. Please stop. He's crying basically there. I think that he's crying. I don't know how we cry all the time, but it sounded to me like he was crying. I didn't see anything. We couldn't see whether it was another cop holding his legs down or whatever. But we saw that one doofus standing there just watching, oh, shit, what time's lunch? Am I going to order a burger? Whatever. So finally, I got to say, if my dad was there, because I know what kind of cloth he was cut from, has mental stability, he probably would have went up to that cop with a knee and said, back off, dude. You know, if you're worried about it, let's all just get a knee on his knee joints and hold him down, and his elbows and hold him down. But to, you know, and some of the people in chat said they likened it to the strangulation of Eric Garner. Yeah, it was. That's what it was. That was totally wrong. And that's why they'll probably convict him. You used the wrong procedure, which caused this man's death. Well, Jesus, grow a fucking brain, asshole. You know, I mean, that's how you kill things. You know, you put your, you know, anyway, I could go on and on and on. I don't want to. So, ladies,
Tim Black says he was handcuffed also.
Yeah, well, it looked like he was handcuffed. You know, I mean, the shoulders were perked up to where it was like that. So, yeah, handcuff. Just handcuff him and kill him. You know, that's how we do it. So, ladies, please finish this horrible thought. And this is, I hate these kinds of shows. We have to talk about it. I'm not going to run away from this shit. So, Shanda, you first.
Sadly, I don't think this will be the last time we have this conversation. It doesn't seem to ever end. And until these police are convicted and the policies and procedures are revamped to not allow them to use excess force when, say, somebody's in handcuffs, it's not going to stop. It's sadly.
Whitney?
And also just the militarization. I mean, the militarization of the police, right, is we're viewing citizens as like enemies or something. You know, the cops are just viewing people without, I don't know, the common human decency is part of the issue. Is we need to value human life. I mean, easier said than done, but it's just that serious. We need to respect people's health and well-being, even if, you know, even if they're in handcuffs. You can't do the neck thing. Come on, it's not appropriate. It's not appropriate, and it's a sad situation. I agree with Shanda that it probably will not be the last one, and it's disheartening for America, but it's been going on for a while. Yeah,
and I don't want anybody out there, future, whoever, if you happen to watch this show, we're not looking at it from a simplistic view. Dipshit, talking to you, yeah. All of us in here, including the chat, we're talking about a serious thing that's costing us our blood, our lives, our sisters and brothers across the country once again because of our failure in society. Again, thank you, ladies. We're over an hour a little bit now. I knew that would go there, and I hope we dedicated enough time to George Floyd today to give him some justice. At least we had the conversation, and we will not forget, as we have not forgot about Eric Garner. And what was the kid's name that got shot in the back? Audrey?
Ahmaud Arbery.
Ahmaud Audrey. And all of them. And yeah, it's mostly our black sisters and brothers, but it's
Sandra
not
Bland.
Yeah, Sandra Bland. Oh God, don't get me started. But again, it's everybody, and it's all of our responsibility, whether you want to take it or not. It's yours. You know, if you have a heart, if you have a brain that's not broken, we all know this. It's you know, we can't allow this murder to go on. So I wanted to, you know, when I set these shows up, I try and format them with the theme of the day, which is Women's Wednesday, and I hope that I have not rambled on too much for you ladies. And we lost Christine, the natural progressive. We hope she comes in tomorrow to join us. And Rhonda was not feeling well this morning.
We miss Rhonda. Rhonda felt better.
So what originally we wanted 4 windows with all ladies in there, not the bald boomer in the middle, but I will facilitate anyways. So we're going to go out today with a kind of a somber song that I didn't add it. It was already here, but I got to thinking, should I pull this song? Because I pulled the movie today. We're gonna feature that movie pick later. But this song, when I walked away this morning, and I just wanted to play this song again to see if it was something appropriate for today. It is, because sometimes we just gotta get away from the television, get away from the news, and breathe a little bit and think about something else. So this is Drops of Jupiter. It's an acoustic cover by Olivia Kuper Harris, and she's with the group Stories. And let's just take a moment here, if you guys don't mind, everybody, just think about this. in a relaxed way about where is our world going to? Where are we at now? And let's just take some responsibility and just take a breath, and then we get through this. Come back and let's keep up this fight against this bullshit. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much.
Join us on the Dames of Doom tonight, the Natural
Dames at
Progressive.
Doom,
Yes.
yeah, and then the Accidental Activist. You know that gal.
Tomorrow?
We got one tomorrow with the Accidental Activist. I don't know what that show's going to be, but it's promising to be.
Nobody does.
Good. It's gonna be. It's gonna be a good show. And again, I'm not going to get too wordy here. Just drops at Jupiter train. Thank you, everybody, for putting up with me and enjoying the ladies today.
Now that she's back in the atmosphere with drops of Jupiter in her hair, she acts like summer and walks like rain. Reminds me that there's time to change. Oh, since her return from her stay on the moon, she listens like spring and talks like June. But tell me, did you sail across the sun? Did you make it to the Milky Way to see the lights are faded and that heaven is overrated? Tell me, did you fall from a shooting star, one without a permanent scar? And did you miss me while you were looking for yourself out there? Now that she's back from her soul vacation, tracing her way through the constellation, she checks out modes, how while she does double, reminds me that there's time to grow. Now that she's back in the atmosphere, I'm afraid that she might think of me as plain old Jane. Told a story about a man who was too afraid to fly, so she never did land. Tell me, did the wind sweep you off your feet? Did you finally get a chance to dance along the light of day? Head back to the Milky Way. Tell me, did Venus blow your mind? Was it everything you wanted to find? And did you miss me while you were looking for yourself out there? Oh, North deep fried chicken, your best friend always sticking up for you. Even when you know you're wrong, no first dance, freeze-dried romance, 5-hour full conversation, best soy latte that you ever had, and me. But tell me, did the wind sweep you off your feet? Did you finally get a chance to dance along the light of day? Head back to the Milky Way.